We live in a world of advertisements which all try to convince us of one common idea, which is that our lives are all about us. They're always telling us things like, hey, buy this new pair of shoes, or hey, why don't you buy this cool new video game, or hey, here's a delicious burrito. And of course, these things aren't bad, but underneath all these advertisements, there's this one common message which comes to us all the time, and it's not that helpful. And the message is, your life is all about you. These advertisements want to tell us that our life is all about us because that makes us feel good and want to spend more money. But in reality, our life is not actually all about us. And if we want to break out of what the world tells us how we have to live our lives, I have a great suggestion for us. And that is to live the virtue of service. The virtue of service means putting the needs of others before myself. To actually see and value what other people need over and above what I think I need for myself. Of course, this is why we do things all the time, like washing tables, or serving food at mealtime, or sweeping floors, or taking out the trash, raking leaves, or shoveling snow for other people. But to serve is not just an occasional action that we do to get credit from someone. To serve is a whole way of life. A person who shows us in a great way is Saint Maximilian Kolbe. You probably know his story. When Saint Maximilian Kolbe was in the Nazi concentration camp at the end of World War II, there was a prisoner whose life was going to be taken in place of another prisoner who had escaped. And when this man was desperate to live because he had a wife and kids at home, Saint Maximilian heroically stood up and said, "I will die in place of this man." And he did. Now, the really remarkable thing that I think we learn from Saint Maximilian's story actually comes from after his life. Some people interviewed Saint Maximilian's friends who had known him for many years, and they said to them, "Were you surprised that Saint Maximilian did such a heroic act of charity? That he laid down his life for someone who he didn't even know?" And you know what they said? They said, "No, we weren't surprised that Saint Maximilian would give up his life in a big way like that, because he had already given up his life thousands of times in many, many small ways." So living a life of service is not just about becoming nice people. It's actually about becoming genuine heroes. Become people who give up their life for someone else. Of course, nobody did this better than Jesus Christ himself, who came and gave up his life, not just for the people who liked him, but for those who didn't like him, who didn't want to receive him, people who hated him. And that's why Jesus said, the Son of Man didn't come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many.